Check the gate. Good. Nicely done.
What's so wonderful about Hollywood is you start with an idea, which was a pirate ride, and then you getting really talented people to come up with ideas on how you make a movie.
Working on a Jerry Bruckheimer production is a different animal altogether.
Jerry's attitude towards life is there is nothing I can't do in terms of making a film bigger and better. It's a Jerry Bruckheimer production. You're going to have it all. You're going to have great characters, you're going to have big action, you're going to have great humor. So it's kind of got all the elements that make for great filmmaking.
That roller coaster ride, action, humor, everything is kind of taken up a notch.
Pirates 2 is just going to be bigger and better.
I think there's just one word that describes the scope and scale of this film, and it's big.
Amazingly, this film was spawned by a Disney adventure ride, but the stories in all 3 episodes are inspired by time-honored nautical legends.
You think of the sea and there's a lot of supernatural stories you've heard, but nobody'd ever actually done those stories as part of a larger pirate movie or swashbuckler. We brought in the Flying Dutchman, which is a well-known sea legend, and combined it with the Davy Jones myth. I mean, basically we were looking for anything to expand on this world where you go to sea and weird things can happen.
Visionary director of The Ring, Gore Verbinski, is the man in charge of bringing the Pirates trilogy to the screen.
We tend to hire directors that have a very strong visual sense and know exactly what they want and how they want it to look, and won't stop until they figure out a way to get it. And Gore's no exception.
And action!
Verbinski leads an armada of construction crew behind the scenes, and remember, much of what they built had to float. If they got it wrong, the film would literally sink without a trace.
I'm surrounded right now by 500 crew people working away between effects and animals, special effects and visual effects and stunts and extras and wardrobe, and we have this army that not only works on this film, we have this army that has to take care of, you know, with feeding and housing, and it's just big.
It took 8 months of construction, 450 craftsmen and visual effects experts to turn the Black Pearl into a seaworthy ship.
What we did this time is we took a vessel, an actual ship, a tugboat, basically, and built a ship around it. Built the Black Pearl right around this other ship. So it was seagoing. It traveled from Alabama to the Caribbean on its own. It's still with us. It's not, on the first movie we had portions of ships that were on barges, but never really an entire ship that could function on its own. And this time we did that.
There's a lot more physical adventure in this movie than the first one.
We've got an amazing stunt team, really amazing, and they have been my favourite bits of filming so far, actually, the fight sequences.
Jump into a sail, get a knife out, slash it, slide down, it's like real Errol Flynn stuff.
The stage direction in an earlier draft of the script said something like, it's like the final scene of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and so begins the biggest sword fight in the history of films.
We have this enormous sword fight on this huge wheel.
We spent many days doing crazy fights, going up and down, around and around.
I was in the wheel. I was literally in the wheel at one point. It was just exhausting, man. It was days and days and days of that.
It takes meticulous planning to physically put this together, but the wheel was not designed for people.
You have to rig a camera inside it and then outside it.
It was so bizarre that it was completely appealing.
Nice. All right, very nice.
Gore has a grand vision. He will challenge you to reach for the stars and gives you the freedom to do that, and that's what we go for.
They had this bone cage hanging like a pendulum off a cleat.
Is this actually just really swinging? Yes. We're not quite sure what's going to happen.
The bone cage sequence was crazy.
Orlando came in here ready to go. He's pretty adaptable to things and can pick up choreography real quick.
Come on!
Kira, if she wasn't an actress, I would sign her up. We could give her a t-shirt and a hat and bring her on the crew, you know, if it ever fell apart for her, which it won't.
What George and all his guys do is kind of invite you into the team, and that's just brilliant. And I'll be a stunt woman if it all falls apart. That would be cool. Brilliant.
She's a very quick study. Her physicality is fantastic.
Johnny's really a natural. He's a very good athlete. He doesn't let on that it comes easy to him, but I think it does pretty much.
I've done some really obtuse and strange things in this. At this point, you know, nothing they could ask would surprise me anymore.
It seems nothing is unsurmountable in this movie, and they keep trying to stretch the boundaries and limits of what's even possible to do.
Should we try it again?
Yep.
The film's leading men became accustomed to the rigours of the job.
It's very physical. It's very, when I say physical, I mean it's very present. The sets are all used to their full advantage. A lot of it is actual, you know, action. It's real action.
None of us are what you call natural swordsmen, and it's a bit like learning a very complicated dance that you can get hurt in.
You okay with that? Sure. Let's do it.
Strange job for a grown man.
Already, this sequel is being hailed as a worthy successor. Those involved in this fabulous seafaring adventure are quite rightly as proud as rum punch.
I think that Pirates 2 is just going to be bigger and better than Pirates 1.
And if you love the first movie, you gotta love this movie.
People are going to be blown away by this one in the way that they were with The Empire Strikes Back.
I don't know how Gore Verbinski. His brain can focus on so many different things at once.
And action! It'd be nice if he came at you and you had to back up, you know, can't, you know what I mean?
I have a profound respect for Gore, and always have, you know, since, you know, working together on the first film. But on this one, watching what he's had to deal with on a daily basis, it's incredible.
There are quite a few islands in the Caribbean that we're going to film on. Of course, it's St. Vincent, which was a working class island that we filmed the first one on.
This is actually a great location for us because it's a tune-up of what we're going to be experiencing in Dominica.
Dominica is so unspoiled. They said that if Captain Cook came back and walked the earth again, it was one of the only places he'd recognize.
You have to understand, this is a Gore Verbinski film. The more extreme and remote, the better it is. For Gore, if you can't hike to it, rappel in, swim in, parachute into it, then it's not worth getting to.
See that spot right there? That's where we first tried to put the bridge in.
Gore saw it from the air. We first tried to talk him out of it, and I think he replied, if it was easy, we wouldn't be shooting here.
Funny way to get to the office, huh?
T2 Gorge has this beautiful waterfall in it, but there's only one way in. It's in by water and it's out by water.
Exumas, I think, is my favourite. It's the most beautiful island.
I've had it! I've had it with wobbly-legged, rum-soaked pirates!
Evening.
Hello.
We were on a spit of land, a sandbar in the middle of the ocean.
We're shooting on an island that is half underwater half the day, and we have to plan our schedule around the tide charts.
Can you even get this on film that the island is sinking underneath us?
You can actually watch it.
One of the sets we had a great deal of fun with was the Bayou set, which was shot on stage at Disney.
It was amazing walking into the studio and all of a sudden you poked your head round and there was all this water and this amazing treehouse.
My initial reaction was, can I get the blueprints because I want to live in this? I mean, I want to build this somewhere and live in it.
Pirates.